Have you ever seen an ostrich dig their head into a hole? In a way, we do much the same figuratively, although for much different reasons. In a world overwhelmed with information, there is so much that is being exposed to us that we choose to close our eyes from the truth, and it's this very act that we call the Ostrich Effect. But before we dig into the effect itself, make sure to subscribe to this channel so we can continue to feed you nuggets of gold to boost brain and behavior. Much like the name, the Ostrich Effect is the very behavior of intentionally avoiding or ignoring information that is unpleasant, threatening, or contradictory to our existing beliefs or desires. The reason for the name is that there is a popular myth that ostriches bury their heads in the sand when faced with danger, although the actual reason is due to laying their eggs into these holes. A study done in 2016 titled Information Avoidance examined this effect, where they combined data from various studies on information avoidance and dug deep in to see whether this was true. In their research, they were able to find consistent evidence of information avoidance across a range of contexts such as health risks, financial decisions, and social judgments. In the context of financial decision-making, a study was conducted by George Lowenstein, a behavioral economist at Carnegie Mellon University. The research revealed that investors tend to avoid monitoring their investment portfolios when they perceive negative information. They prefer to remain uninformed rather than confront potential losses. For example, during a stock market downturn, some investors went as far as to avoid checking their portfolios or seeking professional advice, hoping that by ignoring the situation, their investments were miraculously recovered. This goes even far to climate change, where in another study, researchers discovered that individuals often disengage from climate change discourse due to feelings of powerlessness, denial, or overwhelming information. Instead of many people choosing to do something about an issue, they choose to ignore the issue itself, disregarding environmental warnings and continue unsustainable practices. The Ostrich Effect can be seen beyond just bigger issues like financial investment or environmental. We do this on a day-to-day basis as well, as evident from health checkups. If you can recall, many people avoid regular medical checkups or delay seeking medical attention despite experiencing symptoms that could be indicative of a serious condition. They prefer not to confront the possibility of a health problem, fearing the potential diagnosis or the need for lifestyle changes. We also do this with how we spend our money as well. Despite not having enough money to spend, or perhaps even having a lot of debt, we ignore the financial reality and keep spending regardless, or we're just reckless with our money. Even in our relationships, when we see signs of trouble, red flags, or underlying issues, we avoid conversations to solve those issues, suppress our emotions, or deny the existence of problems altogether. Then there's the innate nature of self-preservation. Since ancient times, we do what we can to survive and keep ourselves afloat in this hectic world. As such, ignoring or downplaying negative information may be our modern way of maintaining a positive mindset or emotional well-being. We avoid what is difficult or may cause us emotional harm, so instead we bury our heads in the sand. While it might be easier to ignore things and hope that things will get better, this can be quite impactful on the course of our life, from the decisions we make to how we endure things. For one, ignoring truths and closing our eyes to them leads to a failure to recognize and address potential risks or problems, both in personal and professional contexts. As mentioned in the example earlier with relationships, there are plenty of relationships that end up moving along without any resolution being made to the underlying problems. This builds up and inevitably explodes later down the road. The Ostrich Effect also hinders decision-making by limiting the consideration of relevant information and alternative perspectives. If we don't want to hear something that might make us face the harsh reality of what is, we don't consider looking deeper and learning more. On top of the decisions we make, this pattern of information avoidance can contribute to the persistence of harmful behaviors or situations by avoiding uncomfortable truths or necessary changes. It impairs our ability to adopt a learning and growth mindset because we just keep pushing things back. This can lead to a lot of missed opportunities in life, maintaining bad habits, and just cause issues that are far-reaching later down the road, where we end up not even realizing why a breakup, a meltdown, or existential crisis even came to be. Addressing the Ostrich Effect is not an easy pill to swallow, and it requires a lot of effort to face the harshness. But here are some ways we can embrace it. For one, make sure to try to tackle the challenges. Life itself is a challenge, and running away or avoiding the problems entirely won't do anything. Everything inevitably bites you back in the ass. So when there's something uncomfortable, cultivate a mindset that embraces the challenge and learn from the failures. Also practice emotional regulation. Develop strategies to manage and regulate negative emotions that may arise when confronting unpleasant information. As a great philosopher Seneca once said, it's not what happens to you, how you react to it that matters. Also learn to acknowledge and accept. Recognize that ignoring or avoiding uncomfortable information or situations does not make it go away. Understand that facing the problem head-on is what makes you grow, it makes you better, and reach greater heights in the long term. Pressure makes diamonds. Discomfort will make you a stronger person. The Ostrich Effect sheds light on our inclination to ignore uncomfortable truths. Whether it's personal, social, relational, or global, we all hide from the truth to some degrees. Don't feel too guilty for doing so. What's important to know is that biases like this do exist and they are affecting our brain and behavior. So understanding them and learning how to avoid them or leverage them is going to help you in the long run. Embrace mindfulness, try to think critically, and learn from educational videos like this to seek discomfort to blossom into something that can handle anything. So if you've liked this video, subscribe to this channel so we can continue to help you mind the goals in mind.